What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. I hope you guys are ready because today we're diving into the Green Lantern Civil War. This story arc is going to take place over Green Lantern Civil War Special, as well as Green Lantern issue 16, 17, and 18 by Jeremy Adams. If you want to know what led up to all of this story, I highly recommend that you check out both my playlists. One is Green Lantern War Journal, and the other is Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern leading up to this point. Both of those stories come colliding to a close here. The United Planets has seized control of the Green Lantern Corps. They erected a massive blockade around Earth, now under the control of Lord Premier Thaaros. The United Planets Corps, they've imposed authoritarian control across the galaxy, with a resistance faction of freedom-fighting lanterns forming in the shadows. It is time for Lantern to face Lantern, a war that will control the cosmos. A war to control the emotional spectrum. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we're picking up with Green Lantern, JOHN STEWART, and Ellie. Ellie is really a light construct. It's really a piece of JOHN STEWART, like a fragment of his very soul manifested. He did this because it looks like his sister and his mother, with her declining health, he was trying to find a way to help her, to protect her at the same time while he couldn't be there. And so that is what created Ellie. And ever since, she has just kind of been. But as the two of them fly through the sky, this is when JOHN STEWART gets hit with yellow light. It throws him off. When he sees who it is, he's in complete shock. He doesn't know what the hell is going on, but as he falls from the sky, Ellie is able to help him, get him back on his feet. And when JOHN STEWART looks up, what we have is Yellow Lantern Kilowog. And Kilowog, he hasn't come to talk. Kilowog is here for one thing. He is here for the Dark Star Ring. Now, if you followed JOHN STEWART's War Journal, you saw the Dark Star Ring having the power to control what we call the Radiant Dead. Consider them extra-dimensional undead spirits. Catching JOHN STEWART off his game, being surprised that Kilowog is still alive. By the time Kilowog was able to get the ring and get out of there, JOHN STEWART, he couldn't even blink. That's what takes us to 12 hours later. JOHN STEWART waking up and the other lanterns surrounding him. We got Guy, we got Hal, and we have Shepard. And the three of them, they're discussing going to Thanagar. This is where our lanterns finally sit down. They've all come together and they're sharing all of their knowledge. This is hugely important because everything that they've been chasing, everything that they've been following, everything they've been going after, it all connects. JOHN STEWART goes on to explain what happened with Kilowog, how the yellow spectrum seems like it possessed him. But more than that, he got the Dark Star Ring, the ring that is so powerful in the wrong hands. It could be the end of everything. The wrong hands, of course, being Lord Premier Thaaros. He's been sending all of his United Planet Lanterns out into the universe, out into the galaxy, to take down every central battery that they could find, replacing the council with people of his species, loyal to him. It's almost like a form of mind control in a sense. They figured out a way to manipulate a spectrum in order to push people into different emotional states. Hal Jordan was about to go to Thanagar and try to talk with the council and see if they can try to help them out in some way to stop the Lord Premier. How they're getting off worlds. That's where the Star Sapphire comes into play. And if that wasn't enough information, there is one more tidbit. As they look outside, they see Jade Stone. Hal Jordan has asked him to join them from the central battery the Guardians left on Earth. Of course, many of the Lanterns are now learning that there is a central battery for the Green Lanterns on Earth, something we learned quite a while ago, when everything was going sideways, when the Guardians thought that their demise might be on the horizon. We were informed that there is a central battery for the Green Lanterns hidden on Earth. More than that, this central battery has its own rings. Hal Jordan has been using this ring for quite a while, but this is where we see him finally pass those rings out. This means that nobody can control them. No one can shut off their rings or anything else in between. This central battery, these rings, are protected by every hero on Earth. Even though they don't know it. Though the central battery is invisible, it lies in hiding. It lies in protection. And this is where our team splits up. Guy is gonna head to Oa. He's gonna see what's going on down there, maybe see if he can cause a little bit of trouble for him. And so, as the Lanterns begin to head out, they raise their fists to the sky. They say, "In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware. Our power, Green Lantern's light." This is when we get taken to Oa. We are in the chamber of the unseeing. Lanterns with magical abilities. They are able to see what is going on in the universe. And what they see is Hal Jordan. They see the others trying to get past the blockade as they go to send in Lantern reinforcements to stop them. This is when they are interrupted. The unseeing are very cocky. They believe that they can see everything, but they can only see everything in 3 dimensions. They didn't think about the 4th dimension. This is where we have the arrival of Alan Scott. Alan Scott is here to be the distraction. So as he goes to take on the unseen, we pick up on Thanagar. We pick up with Hal Jordan, Star Sapphire, and JOHN Stewart. And the 3 of them trying to convince them of what's happening in the universe. Hal is trying to let them know that a hostile takeover, it is imminent. You think that Ran and Thanagar are full of partners in this coalition called the United Planets, that your interests are protected there. But all of this is a lie. This is when Hal shows all the planets that have been destroyed, that they're ambassadors. They have been replaced, either now imprisoned or dead. Thaaros is turning the Green Lantern Corps into his own personal militia, carrying out illegal blockades and preemptively striking worlds that have done nothing to him. But when the council looks at them, they don't adhere to this advice. Instead, they treat them like the enemy, acting like our lanterns are the bad guys. And by the way they're talking, it appears that they already knew they were coming. That is because our Lord Premier is already here. He was able to get here first. He was able to get into their ears. And so our lanterns have no other option but to fight. JOHN Stewart does note that the Lord Premier is wearing the Dark Star Ring. As the Thanagarians descend down on them, our lanterns try to hold their own. When we see one of the ambassadors getting hit, we see him transform. The Lord Premier's trick is up. They see what the lanterns were saying was absolutely correct. But now that the cat's out of the bag, the Lord Premier no longer has to hide. The Lord Premier uses the power of the Dark Star Ring. He unleashes the Radiant Dead. When we get back to Oa, Guy and Shepard trying to get here and find out what's going on. Behind the doors, what's happening is the Unseeing versus Alan Scott. Now, the Unseeing, they see the Star Heart and they go frantic. They have been looking for this power for so long. They don't care about what's going on with the Lord Premier. They don't care about the Lantern Corps. They don't care about anything that they were just focused on. As soon as the Star Heart arrives, they shift their focus fully to Alan Scott. Over in the Science Cell prison, we have Shepard and we have Guy Gardner making their way around here, trying to get past guards and all this other stuff. This is when Guy runs into Lorfleas, our Orange Lantern, completely outraged, furious, on the warpath asking, "Where is my special?" So as Guy and Shepard try to stay out of his way, try to let him take care of the guards, while they try to figure out what the hell's going on in this place. We pick up with the Lord Premier, Hal Jordan just now beginning to understand what all this is. The Radiant Dead, living windows of lethal, corrupted light. He tells Hal, don't let this stuff touch you, as they try to get everybody off planet. Try try to save as many lives as they can. This is when some of the Lord Premier's people recognize he's gone too far. He's become a horror. They say to summon the abomination. This is when they call forth Varan, aka Star Shroud. The moment they fear has come, they ask for him to do the bidding. This is when we see Varan go up to his uncle, and he strikes him from the back as his body falls down to the ground. Hal Jordan, JOHN Stewart, and the others stand against Star Shroud. JOHN tells him, this guy's already dead, so don't hold back. As they go to hit him with everything they got, they throw him into some spheres, using their light constructs, holding him in place until they can figure out what to do next. As the Lord Premier is dying, knowing that he is undone, that if he is going to die, let his rage have its revenge. This is when they feel the rumbling, and when they look up to the sky, they see Mogo, the giant living planet, now as a red lantern, and it is now on a collision course. This is what takes us to issue number 16. We pick up in space, debris and everything else in between. Mogo, the living planet, it just destroyed Thanagar as ships evacuate in all directions. Hal Jordan asking how many people were we able to save, and they were only able to save a few thousand. Thousands of out of billions of people. So many lives lost. So many lives erased in a moment. But the battle is far from over. Hal and John, they head out to face this, and our Star Sapphire, Kara goes to try and figure out how to help out these spaceships. This is what picks us up on the Durlan flagship. Now, the Durlan people are talking about what the Lord Premier had been up to, things that it had been hiding and keeping secret. They know that without his power, they're not going to be able to control the Lantern Corps like they wanted to do. But Thaaros' power, it laid in his experiments, his technology, which now belongs to them. This brings us back to our Kid Lantern, aka Kelly. She has been able to control the emotional spectrum, and she has found a new way to wield green light energy without the help of the Guardians. As far as they know, she might be the only creature to ever do so. Thaaros had torn her mind apart to find out what had happened, how it's done, but the technology wasn't ready. It corrupted him. It was unstable, but now the scientists believe that they have figured it out, that they can control the spectrum, and with it, the whole universe. This is when they get the notification that there are two lanterns headed for them, and it's not the United Planet lanterns. It's Hal and John, the two of them moving like a well-oiled machine. John and Hal have done this so many times. It's almost second nature. The muscle memory is so on point that they don't even have to talk to each other. But while Hal is fighting, this is when Varan shows up. Varan shows up and he immediately attacks JOHN Stewart. Carol using the Star Sapphire powers. She's using these on the engines to give them that extra little boost and get all these people to safety. Hal Jordan takes this opportunity with the help of JOHN Stewart. They knock this dude right into the blast path. Those thrusters hitting Varan. We can assume that this doesn't kill him because the guy is literally the living dead, but it's gonna take him out of the equation, at least for the time being. Knowing what they gotta do, they gotta head to Oa. They gotta see if Guy saved any of their friends, and then they do their next move. So there's the two of them, they hop into their light constructs and they plow through any United Planet lantern in their way. Star Shroud shows up on the flagship, and in a matter of moments, he's taking control. This council, the Durlan people quickly recognize that Star Shroud, he's now in charge. And as they head to Oa, we see Lord Premier Thaaros, believed to be dead. This is when we see the power hit him. Thaaros is being reborn, and now everybody's path leads directly to Oa. On Oa, we have the distraction that is ongoing with Shepard and Guy rescuing all of our heroes, all of our lanterns that have been hiding out here or locked up here. And so as they continue their prison break, we pick up with our Star Sapphire. She's been using a hell of a lot of power to try and get this Ran ship out of here. But this is when they tell her that you need to come up here and we need your help immediately, because they have something before them, something they believe the Star Sapphire needs to see. So as we get into issue number 17, everyone is arriving at Oa. We pick up with Varin, and Varin is discussing Thaaros' plans. His plan was to pierce the Source Lantern, to take control of its power. With his death, Star Shroud is going to take his place. He also knows that everything revolves around Kid Lantern, so he heads down to the planet's surface. The council members recognizing as soon as he leaves that he's worse than Thaaros. They're gonna try to contact the Unseeing to try and fix this problem. That way they can continue their plan. They're still trying to control the core. After everything that's happened, they're still trying to do it. This is what takes us to the Chamber of the Unseeing. We pick up with Jessica Cruz. For a time, she was a Yellow Lantern, but she has been working undercover. She has been pretending to be one of the United Planet Lanterns. They all assumed that she had gone onto their side, but they discovered her betrayal. The Unseeing torture her, and Yellow Lantern Kilowog holds her in place. Down in the crypt of Oa, we have Alan Scott and the others. John Stewart passes out new lantern rings to all of our lanterns, ones that are only centralized around the central battery on Earth and can't be shut off by ring hunters. Though he does note that he only has so many of these. We were told in a previous comic that he can make more in time, but that's gonna come later on. This is when Ellie shows up. Ellie shows up and lets all of them know that Kelly needs you right now. Oa needs you right now. This cannot wait. This is what takes us to our Lord Premier Thaaros. A new power risen within him. He can feel the spectrum, how it weaves through everything, unbound by lanterns, allowing him to bend the emotion to his will. With the Dark Star Ring, he wants to destroy the Lantern cores. He wants to destroy Oa and the Owen science cells. Varin has made his way down here. Getting down here, he found the ring. Now the scientists say that there needs to be more tests, but he refuses such things, going to take the ring and use it. This is when he is stopped by the Unseeing. But when the Unseeing see this ring, they notice that it is quite different. If this wasn't enough, this is when our Resistance of Green Lantern show up. Simon, Joe, Guy, Alan Scott, they're all here. Alan Scott focusing on the Unseeing. Our other lanterns, they go after Star Shroud. With a huge blast of energy, Alan Scott hits the Unseeing, being hit by the Star Heart so hard, it appears that they just vaporize, finally seeing it for its true beauty, but only in their death. The ring being dropped to the ground. Varin picks it up. And Star Shroud becomes so much more as he takes off into the sky. Our lanterns, they know what they gotta do, trying to get everybody off of Oa. Oa is about to be destroyed, and that is because the giant planet Mogo, it is headed directly for them. Everybody thought that when the Lord Premier died, the control he had over Mogo and switching his emotional spectrum to a Red Lantern would go away and he would go back to being a Green Lantern. But that wasn't the case, because the Lord Premier didn't die. And so when Mogo strikes, his first strike takes out most of the fleet, the ships that are sitting in above orbit. Our lanterns, they don't know what to do. Oa is on the brink of destruction. This is when a savior comes. He's been searching the galaxy, looking for those who are responsible, for those that took his kingdom from him. This is where we have the arrival of Sinestro. Sinestro filled with rage. He intends to use it. With a devastating blast, Sinestro knocks the crap out of our living planet. The red energy of rage splashing onto the surface of Mogo. Not fighting it, overwhelming it, dominating it. Sinestro's rage pulls at Mogo, his rage eclipsing that of a planet. The energy flows into him, filling him with even more rage, returning the planet to its original state. Mogo lives, unconscious, but free of rage, free of Thaaros' control. This is what takes us to Star Shroud. Star Shroud is looking at this piece of source, seeing the shifting colors, beckoning him to taste his power. This is like the Source Lantern central battery, if you will. Lord Thaaros thought this contained the power of the gods. He sent countless beings to their deaths trying to breach its walls, but now he will unlock the secrets. As he walks into it, this is what awakens another lantern, Kyle Rayner. Now, Kyle has been struggling for quite some time. He has been all kinds of upside down and sideways, feeling the spectrum out of whack. But when it's been breached, when all looks like it will be destroyed, our White Lantern returns, powered up, ready to go save the spectrum. He takes off, telling Hal and John that he's got to fix it, that this is his destiny. As he flies into the Source Lantern, up above in the skies, the Lord Premier has arrived. The Dark Star has arrived. Now, the Battle of Oa, Kilowog, Avatar of Fear, and the secret of the Source Lantern. While many may think that Kyle Rayner died, believing that when he went into the Source Lantern, it killed him. But when we get to peer inside, we see that Kyle Rayner is very much alive. This is what takes us to issue number 18, the finale of the Green Lantern Civil War. It is absolute chaos. Darkstar Thaaros. Everyone thought he was dead, but he's here on Oa, driving his United Planets lantern at them like rabid dogs. And while these guys are being manipulated, our lanterns really are trying to do their best not to hurt them. Right now, they're at war with their own kind. Right now, it seems like they're losing, knowing that they gotta move this from defense to offense. Sinestro getting into the fight. We pick up inside the Source Lantern. Star Shroud now super powered. He's drawing the energy from the Source Lantern, the energy of the emotional spectrum from around the universe. We learn that it's healing the Guardians. Right now, in this moment, the Guardians of Oa are returning, but Kyle Rayner is here to stop him. He can feel that Varin is stealing this energy, funneling it into that ring, into his being. Kyle knows that he's gotta stop him before he gains too much power. Meanwhile, we pick up with Kilowog in the Chamber of the Unseeing. Kilowog is holding Jessica Cruz, but Jessica Cruz is able to break through to him. She is able to make him remember what happened to him, that he was fighting, and then somebody took him. Someone got into his mind, controlled him, used him as a weapon against his friends. But now coming to, seeing the Green Lantern return, releasing Jessica Cruz, Kilowog's about to get back into this fight. In the skies above Oa, the Lord Premier battles against all of our lanterns. But with the Dark Star Ring, they're having trouble standing against it, standing against the will of Olgren. While they battle, the Lord Premier sees the Source Lantern. The Source Lantern that is cracking. With it cracking, there is a giant explosion. And with this explosion, Star Shroud comes in with Kyle Rayner in his arms, throwing him down to the ground and saying, "So much for the savior of the lanterns." And then turning and seeing that his uncle survived. His uncle wants some revenge. Uncle and nephew going toe to toe. Varin, Star Shroud, wielding the emotional spectrum ring that is the Source Lantern versus Star Shroud, wielder of the Radiant Dead, of the Revenant Queen. These two colossal forces clash, with Thaaros using the Dark Star Ring to bring monsters, part of the old gods here under his control. It opens up rifts. Our lanterns are ready to put all of this to an end. Those rifts are to another dimension, though John would say it's more like rifts into hell. So they suit up, while Thaaros and his nephew battle it out. While each of them seek control, our lanterns push them. They hit them with everything they got. They're pushing towards the opening, with Thaaros and his nephew able to break free. Tired of these Earthlings, they then decide they're gonna team up and take on the lanterns. That it's time for the Green Lantern Corps to be dismissed forever. Thinking that they have the upper hand, they go to make their attack. But from behind them, we have Kilowog and Jessica Cruz coming in like a freaking wrecking ball. These two lay down some hate. and they drive the two of them into the void. Kyle Rayner, still alive, getting up to his feet. Using the power of the White Lantern, he is able to close that rift up. And in closing that rift, the last things you hear from Varin, from Thaaros, is something about what is this? What is that thing coming for us? The power, the ring, his hunger. He begs for help, and the rift closes behind them. The Civil War has ended. Everything has changed. In some ways, they may be back to square one. The Guardians have returned, though they've changed somehow. Kyle says the spectrum is wild. Anyone can manifest a color, anywhere at any time, even colors that they've never even heard of before. They're referring to them as fractal lanterns. The universe has become lawless, chaotic, a Wild West. It's time for the Green Lantern Corps to step back up and help save everybody. Meanwhile, we pick up with our star Sapphire. She's facing the manifestation of love. It has come looking for the star Sapphire. After using the powers, it finally found her. But our star Sapphire is quickly able to put it down, more or less letting it know, like, if I am love, then let me show you how powerful I truly am. Star Sapphire is only beginning her new journey. Meanwhile, we pick up elsewhere. We pick up with a broken soul. A man that feels like he has a fountain of pain, hopelessness. All he wants is the stop of these emotions. The voice inside his head, it told him it could help. This is where sorrow shows up, and the Green Lantern's next big enemy has arrived. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Make sure you guys look forward to my next video that will be covering the next story arc, including the Fractal Lanterns. All in all, this wasn't a bad 4 issues, really bringing to a close everything the Green Lantern stories have been building over the last 2 years. I personally would have liked to see a lot more of Jessica Cruz as our Yellow Lantern, but you get what you get. Kyle Rayner, yet again, underutilized, thrown around, beaten like a rag doll. Didn't really do much, but he is a White Lantern again, so that's a good thing. We'll see if that sticks. That might not stick. Hopefully, Kyle gets to stay as a White Lantern. I would love that, but we're gonna see. I'm more disappointed in the underutilization of John Stewart. John Stewart is ascended. No matter how you cut it, no matter how you dice it up, John Stewart is arguably one of the most powerful lanterns now to ever exist. And it seems like we're kind of going backwards on that. I really want to see John get back into that storyline, really dive into what it means to be ascended, to touch the source wall and become a god. But it was nicely, I feel like it was rushed a little bit, but for the aspect of it feeling rushed, they did a really, really good job of patching it all together, of bringing all these stories together, closing them in, from Sinestro to Jessica Cruz to Kelly, though we haven't fully explored Kelly's powers yet, on how she's able to access the green spectrum without a ring. I think many assume it's the gauntlet. Needless to say, they've been trying to figure this out for some time. It appears that Lord Premier Thaaros figured something out. They were able to craft a ring that was able to harness the source lantern. Now, if this ring still exists, that's up for debate. We have to wonder, where is the source lantern ring and where is the Dark Star ring? Both of those rings were on the wielders. They got thrown into another dimension, which means if those rings are still on them, they are definitely gonna be coming back. All in all, not a bad story. Had a lot of fun reading it. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything that is going on with the Green Lantern Corps. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.